Hello, good evening, Twin Minds here, and as I start my stream, I immediately notice that it's not working. And the cat says hello. Cat has decided to say hello a lot of the time starting the stream lately, so yes, hello, stream finally working, there we go. So yes, hi, Kerbals, let's do it. So Gregory, yes, the sky is falling, but not yet. There's still technically possibility for net neutrality to stay in place in some form or another. But yes, it's looking grim. But not the end of the world yet. So one thing to note is that many corporations, including Comcast, specifically Comcast, did fight tooth and nail for this. And they promised us that we don't need net neutrality. Because they're gonna be good boys. And they're not going to do all the shitty things that we are blaming them for. So, there will be at least a period where they're going to attempt to show that they meant what they said. So even though it's technically not fully in place yet, and even though there are still a couple possibilities to finally shoot this down, once it does fully go into effect, it's not going into effect yet. I don't remember the date, but not yet. Once it does fully go into effect, there will still be a period where they're going to attempt to prove to us that they're not evil shitheads. So, hold off. Not panic just yet. Just bear in mind that there's still a chance. Alright, so, Kerbals. Now that we've done our political discussion out of the way for the day, Kerbals! So we have our square, which is our lovely quad satellite array that is perfectly lined up to give us a relatively low orbit communications network. By relatively low, I mean 2.8 meters, or 2.8 million meters, but in comparison to things like the MUN at 11, etc., it's still not a lot. So the next thing I want to do is to set up a what is the term I'm looking for? A system where I can connect to all three of my moons, whatever. So we have the MUN, we have Minmus, and we also have our new friend Iontopia. So I need to be able to connect to all three of those as often as possible. Ideally, all of the time, but it might not be possible to do all of the time. So, but we should be able to get a near perfect connectivity point. So to do that, I think I want 2. I think 2 is the answer I'm looking for. And I want them out at about 5 million. And I already have them designed. Took me a while, but I already have them designed, so I need to get them out to 5 million. And to do that, I need to open up my thing. Kerbal sites, resonant orbit calculator. I need that. And that's going to tell me where I can put these. Not up my bum. One more 0. There we go. Okay, so to put it out at 5 million. My periapsis needs to be at 855, roughly. Okay. So what that will do is that will give me the ability to, if we look at my orbits here, if my orbit is planned at 5 million out here, I need to have my apo at the 5 million mark, and I need to have my periapsis at the 855 mark way in here, right about here, roughly. And that will mean that when I release the first one and expand the first satellite out, the ship carrying the second satellite will go in at a narrower orbit, come back out, and it will be out here while the other one has floated around to this side. So they will be evenly spaced. I'm fairly certain 2 will be good for this. Fairly certain. Not positive, but fairly certain. I have not tested this in the least, so this could be a terrible idea. But we're going to do it anyway. Because I say so. Okay. Let me check all of my streams again, just to make sure everything is lining up kosher. I see things. Good. Alright. So let's go into here. And make sure I have the right file. Saves. Here. Here. Alright, so let's take a look at our subassemblies here. So we've got 50 megameter sat dish. Yes, here we go. So this is the set that I wanted to put up that can do all 3 moons. So we've got our solar panel right there. We have some lovely lights, and then we have 3 of these. Like so. So these 3 dishes, one will point to each moon, and then these communitrons, they're relatively small individually, but they will add up to be able to communicate with the broader satellite network that's floating around at 2.8 billion. So these will be constantly in communication back to Kerbin, and these will be pointing out at the moons. So hopefully this is good, I think. Maybe. So power drain, 2.65, so each of these takes up a lot, but the solar panels provide quite a bit of production. And if we look at the dark side calculations, I have a surplus of 951. So I have a total storage of 2800 here, plus a little bit in here. So that should be able to give us enough stuff to do the things. Those are words. So 5,000 and 5,000. 5 million. 5 million? No, that was way too many zeros. Okay. So these are in kilometers, so I need to cut off a few zeros. There we go. So the calculations are a little bit different. So 1,000 left instead of 200 or so. So that's fine. We're good on power. So I just need to get this thing up into space. To space! So I have 700 plus delta V on this thing in 0G. So that should be more than enough to get this thing where it needs to be. Because I only need, according to this, under 300 delta V to circularize from 855 to 500 million. So that should be plenty. Alright, so actually I can dump this, because now I have to build the vessel that can launch those. And if I start with my original quad sat, we should have a good starting point. However, these things take up a lot of processing power because they have so many parts on them. We're going to cut those off and then see where we're at with this thing. So this thing's delta V is, let's cut this number off. So low end 4,400, high end 7,600, and the mid ground for that is going to be, slide some numbers back and forth. Cut off 1,000, cut off 800, so cut off about 2,000, and we've got roughly 5,600 delta V. So that should be more than enough to get to a 5,000 or a 5 million orbit, I hope. But I do need to put on the satellites and see what that looks like. Let's do that button. Yeah. Alright, and I just want to grab a separate one this way so I can do a dual I don't think this is how I want to connect them, but I just need to see if the delta V looks right. So delta V drops down significantly. And that puts it at a bit over 4,000 delta V, which it puts it probably a little bit too low to get it where I want to go. Probably. Maybe. So, instead, maybe we need better lifting power. Because I still think this little gizmo here is going to be plenty. So if I cut off this. So that gives us 2100 delta V to work with in this stage. So assuming that this stage makes it into orbit, this should be plenty to get it where it needs to go. Assuming. So, let us see what options we have. I think the answer is we have a lot of options. So let's do a fuel tank there. You know, Hot Rod, in case you weren't paying attention last time you were here, I'm not ready to do those kinds of things. I am still trying to play around in Kervin's playground. I'm not ready to leave just yet. Alright, so next I think I need one of these. Oops, missed. So one of those. And let's do mainsail. Alright, so that... Does mainsail have... It does have gimbal. I forgot. I thought it was too big to have gimbal. But that's okay. It's got gimbal, so I'm happy with that. So... that should be... Lower that. So if I give it more fuel, I should be good. So how about... Okay, so that gives the first stage enough juice to get up. Okay. So if we did... What if we did some skippers on this stage? Actually, I want to go this angle. Come on. Circle. There we go. Alright, so if we did this, let's see what this does for me. Yeah, everything up here is fine. Those are not big enough. What if I did this? Let's do next size up. Next size up. Alright. Oops, wrong button. This button. Those are close enough. Close enough. Okay. Alright, so that gives it enough-ish delta V. And I'm curious what a pair of these would do. Doesn't appear to do much of anything, actually. I'm curious how well that will work. So these things... Curious how much problems they're going to cause in that angle. I don't think they're going to cause too much problem at that angle, but they might. They might indeed. Kind of tempted to launch this as is and see how it goes. Okay, so this thing is going to... Yeah, that's not gonna be a huge problem. Okay, so I want to try this as is and see how the launch works. Let me do. I can just do umbilical tower. That's fine. And this is going to be. Try dish array. We're good there. Oops. Would help to do my staging. Alright, so we've got these and the main engines. Actually, I think I need to have the main engine fire at the same time as well. Just to have enough lift. We should be good. The only thing I'm missing here is the potential to recover this. That's going to be something I'll have to figure out later. Because recovery of these bigger ones takes a lot of parachutes. And that's not something I care to do at the moment. So I'm not worried about recovering nearly as much as before. I want to see if I can not concern myself over trivial matters anymore. That took a lot of effort and thought process last time, and I just didn't want to do it. Okay. Okay. So, throttle up, SAS on. 3, 2, 1, go! Whee! I forgot wings. Here's hoping that's not going to be a huge problem. It's totally going to be a huge problem. But that is where we will find out the hard way whether or not that's a problem. The answer is yes, that's a problem. Already an issue. And I'm going to revert because I can't keep that thing straight. So we revert and throw on some wings. Okay, wings. Let's do wings. Wings, 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 wings. Delta wings? Ooh, that's not what I meant to grab. You know, sure, you can stay one. I don't care. Wings. Wings. Hopefully those wings will be enough. Also, I realize that the rocket booster I have strapped to this thing is probably not very efficient. But that's okay. I probably could have done just a pair of slim solid boosters to get this thing up instead, on the side at least, instead of the thick liquids, but whatever. Okay. Ooh! That one clamp does not hold very well. Good to know. I'll try to keep that in mind. Alright, T throttle, go! And here we go! Definitely draining fast, as expected. Alright, about halfway gone at less than 3,000 meters, so they'll be gone soon enough here. And we're going to try to follow program and see how much of a gravity turn we'll get out of this thing automatically. I think the answer is not much due to the amount of thrust on this thing, but we'll see. Like not much. Drop those things, and we are definitely pushing hard and fast. Hard and fast. Good lord. Probably would not be a bad idea to throttle down, seeing the amount of fire that's coming out of this thing. But screw that. Alright. I'm gonna let this thing float a bit. Hooray! Okay, so now I'm just going to float a little bit more. Okay, so we are just working on circularizing right now to 100 to get that orbit in place. That should come soon up here. Yep, good enough. Okay. So, just because I kept burning, there it is. So we're equatorial enough. That's all I really need. Alright, so let's put those out and just burn this thing as hard as it will let me. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then just do some minor burns to get that up to 5 million. Okay. So, this stage has definitely outlived its usefulness. It still has a little bit of fuel left, which is perfect, because I will eventually have something coming by and it will sap it of some of that fuel. So I'm going to do that button, I'm going to do that button, and eventually something will come by to collect that. Eventually, maybe. I was eventually planning on removing these and putting them in a different orientation, but they survived the trip just fine, so I don't need to. I need to keep an eye on my electric charge, just in case. Okay. Alright, so what I want to do now is retro ever so slightly and get that down to almost exactly 5 million. No, you know what? What I want to do is fast forward briefly. Oh, good. So my orbit's not changing too terribly much because of that. Alright, so let's cut that in a hair. There. Alright. Good, good. Good, good, good. What is that? Yes, that is my set that needs to do things. Okay, got it. Alright, so I need to get out to roughly here. A little bit more. What is this? This is heavily modded Kerbal Space Program. And we are about to dump my first satellite of the trip in orbit. So we decouple that, switch over to this one, extend its wig while simultaneously flipping its wig. That was weird. Are you going to finish extending, or are you just going to stop part way? There we go. It went wiggy. Extendo. There we go. Good morning, Musiko, and also welcome, Super Panda. Alright, so we need to point ourselves prograde. Whoops. Causing problems. Forgot about the big solar panels whacking things as they go. Totally unintended consequences, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so I have orbital period. There we go. So I need to jack this thing all the way up. Turn on the goddamn engine. And then jack this thing all the way up. Dancing probe indeed. 7, 8, 9, 10. Zoom up. Okay. So my orbital period on this is 2 days, 21 minutes. What I want to do first, I cannot switch back over to the other one, so I need to switch back over to the other one. Because I need to put this thing at 8:55. Because I forgot to do that. Forgot to put it at 8:55, so I can do that. At least the flashing this time around is not quite so fugly as the bright blue ball. Alright, so we point ourselves prograde. And I need to get this thing out to 8:55. Doesn't need to be exact, but it needs to be somewhere in the ballpark. Alright, so that's 885. Because I can't count. Let's pull it back in a little bit. I don't know how much that's going to matter, but let's pull it in. Alright, 855 will do. Okay. So, the next thing I need to do, I just need to pop these solar panels out. Because this ship needs to recharge, for sure. Yay! Hokkaidoke. So this orbit is in place. This guy's orbit is roughly in place. It looks like it's 5,194 and 4.999. So it's close enough. Yeah, close enough. Alright, so now we can just warp ourselves back here. Yeah. Whee! Whee! Alright, so let's warp ourselves to right about here. And we are 3 minutes. Let's warp once more. Once more into the warp. Okay. 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 We are decoupling, switching ships, giving it a little bit of a kick. It doesn't want to get kicked, so it's going to get poked with the solar panels for sure. Activate engine, so don't forget. And let's point this thing prograde and see... Oh, hey, we're not going to hit that ship all that much. Alright. Go, Daddy-o! Okay, so that puts it at close enough. Now I just need to get the orbital periods to a reasonable number. So the orbital period on this one is 2 days, 29 minutes, and 31 seconds. The other one I remember being 2 days, 21 minutes. So I want to bring this one up to 220, or 2 days and then 20 minutes. Bring the other one back down to 20 minutes, and then it'll be, you know, nice round numbers. So to do that, I've got it at 20 minutes and 20 seconds. I need to now kill the thrust down to wholly unreasonable numbers. And retro. Oops, too hard. Alright, so we're at a small enough number that I'm going to have to use Musco's trick to point this thing here, ever so slightly this way. The Musiko maneuver, exactly. Oh, 0.001. I'm doing it again. There we go. So 2 days, 20 minutes, 0 seconds flat. Right. Right. So now I need to unleash the dishes. Oh, I forgot that extend all button doesn't work most of the time. I wonder if I can fix that. Alright, so let's do the thing. So this target is Mun. This target is Iantopia. And this target is Minmus. Okay, so that should give us as much coverage as we can on our 3 planetary bodies. So we've got Mun covered here, and then over here, barely visible, we've got Minmus, I think. And then over here is Iantopia, or the other way around. Either way, this is one, this bright spot here, maybe. And then over here, this darker spot here is one. So we are covered as covered can be. That direction was Iantopia. That direction was Minmus. Okay. I like it. It's like a non-dirty limerick. That's weird. I don't know what to do with a non-dirty limerick. I'm going to go ahead and just point this thing normal. Because normal is probably the closest thing to any of my ships ever get to normal. That is crooked? Weirdly so. Close enough. I mean, I'm not actively challenging you two, but... Alright, so in here we have Comtel OS, the dick. No, so Comtel OS is the name, or Comtel is the name of these, and it's QS, not OS. And I don't remember what the Q was for. I had it in my brain when I was making it. Comtel, QS, and then a number. So what are these two going to be named? The 3 dishes. I know what I'm going to name them. Simple, obvious, but it's doing it anyway. Relay. Da, da, da. They're naming it the Triad Array. There's only 2 of them, but it will do. Alright, so now we need to switch over to this one. 2 days, 20 minutes is my goal. There we are. Alright, so we activate all 3 of these. And then we targetify Mun. And Iantopia. And Minimus. Actually, you know what? Let's skip the second designation. Alright, so this thing needs to go retro ever so slightly, so I'm going to already cut this down. There we go. Alright, so let us do small bursts. And by small bursts, I actually mean short, large bursts. Too short? Alright, so we do the same doohickey as before. Why you no cooperate? Cooperate better. Cooperate better. Why you be dick? Stop be dick. That's a little better. Okay. Camera controls are being all sorts of weird. No, 0.01. There we go, 0.0. Alright. So 2 days, 20 minutes, 0 seconds flat. Yeah, it is weird controlling this thing. It's not cooperating in the angles I thought it should be. Why are you doing that? Where are you going, little thing? I'm literally not touching it right now. And it's doing things. Bravo. Bravo, sir. I'm not sure if I like or dislike the fact that that's not showing up on screen for all to see right now. I will say though that it is still recorded in YouTube's chat when you play back the recording on YouTube, because YouTube records all chat, so it does exist and it will stay existing. It probably is for the best, yes. Alright, so now we have our next satellite in place. Yes, hello future YouTube! And this one is also pointing to the appropriate solar bodies. One right there, one right there, and one on the other side of the planet right now. So this, I think, is the only part of the network I'm not clear if it's perfect or not. So if I go back out here, I've only got 2 of them as opposed to the 4 from the usual array. But both of them are capable of pointing at both of the planets, or both of them are pointing at each of the moons. So if at any point this one is occluded from being able to see that, the other one can see it. So there shouldn't be any dark spots. Shouldn't. And even at their closest point, the angle that these dishes can reach is still wide enough to hit all of them on. So we're good there as far as angles are concerned. And those dishes have 50 range, and that's more than enough to hit out to the 46 million of Minmus. So that is also good. Okay. So those two are in place now. So I can safely send probes to each of the moons, and they will retain their communication. So let's get this guy back home, and then we should be good to do perhaps a moon landing. Haven't planned that far ahead. I planned as far ahead as being able to communicate with the moons. That's it. So after that, wide open tonight. Alright, so this one was filled up with energy, so it's good to go on its way back. And hopefully that's enough energy to make it last the whole way, but what I will do to make it better is turn off SAS, so it doesn't use energy on its float back in. Actually, I need to on SAS briefly anyway, to retro, and get this thing back in to a re-entry. And it's more than safe to re-enter from this altitude because it's only 5 million. Not a big problem. That should be good. Sounds so angry. Alright, off SAS. And I'm actually just going to fast forward this thing all the way into the planet. So, zoom zoom, whee! And then we are going to SAS retro all the way in here. And this entire trip took 1 day and 5 hours. So just shy of 2 days. By the time he lands, it's probably going to be more than 2 days to get those two out. So this poor little Kerbal's been just kind of floating out there doing nothing, twiddling his thumbs while the drones reposition themselves. He's not entirely sure why he was needed on this mission. But he came along anyway, because he's a good little Kerbal. What's attempting to light on fire over here? What is attempting? Is it this thing? Not the heat shield, but the stacked coupler. Because the heat shield sure as hell better not be trying to light on fire right now. Alright, we are coming in just fine. It may be on fire a little bit, but it's still good, it's still good. And this little piece here does not have any recovery options on it, so it's just gonna crash and burn, so I'm just using up all the fuel on it. Because at this point, why not? I don't know how much that's accomplishing, but it's irrelevant either way. How's all of the things? How is all of the things? All of my stream things look fine. Everything looks happy hunky-dory. I'm going to speed that up a little. It may be happy hunky-dory, but it's also taking forever. I'm close to being able to power land this thing. Ooh. I actually almost started going back up again. Alright, so we're gonna kick drop that thing and parachute, and we just wait. That thing's gonna crash very soon here. There it goes. Hooray! Back safe and sound. So, what is next on the agenda? I have done a flyby of Iontopia. Ooh, we're underwater now. And I'm pretty sure I remember doing a flyby of the Mun, but I also don't remember for sure. See, we're underwater now. The sea level has risen back up. I'm pretty sure at this point this is why the Kerbals are trying to leave their home planet. Because they have screwed it so much that the sea level is rising and falling beyond all reasonable expectations. So it's not good anymore. Alright, so let's check our missions. We have... this one is in progress. It's currently in flight. It's only been in flight for about 2 days. It needed 90 days total. So, yeah. That is entirely possible, just regular tides. I wonder if that's like an Easter egg of Scatterer. Because Scatterer is causing that. Because as it redraws the water surface to be prettier. Either that or Eve, I don't remember which one. Pretty sure it was Scatterer. But I wonder if that's an Easter egg where it's actively moving the tides. Because it's not consistent either. It's a very random problem. Sometimes it's way above the building's tops. Sometimes it's like halfway up. Sometimes it's like 90% up. Sometimes it's not up at all. So, starting to wonder. Alright. So, we have active missions that I've already taken to launch a Kerbal Space Station and do a spacewalk. Oh, it does look very disaster movie, absolutely. The only thing that would make it better is if they actually did a little bit of white cap interaction with the buildings, where it's actually splashing up against them. That'd be the only thing to make it a little bit better. So yeah, spacewalk, space station. We also have this active one for the magnetometer scans. And then we also have this one for taking a picture of the sun, which is a Tarsier probe. So having a Tarsier probe out there would be kind of neat. I don't think it would do too terribly much, but it is 100 grand reward and 100 science reward, so still nice to do. And in fact, I would be kind of okay with doing that. And then as far as available missions go, we have tourism. Plenty of tourism. We also have ScanSat, and I do want to do ScanSat in orbit around all of the planets, but I don't know if I want to do that right away, or if I want to wait until I have all of the different ScanSat parts, so I can just plop them all on the same ship and have them all running at the same time, but who knows. I also have... That's almost not enough reward to bother with. That is 6,000? 6,300? Kinda almost not enough to bother with? That was a strange song. Alright. So, orbital survey. These are the ones that are kind of obnoxious to do. No, this is the one that's not obnoxious to do. However, one of them is orbital survey of Mir. And that's the one that's in the other solar system. So not ready to get there anytime soon. In fact, I'm gonna decline that one right away. So we have an orbital survey of Mun that we could do. Fairly decent reward. And it's just... okay, so it's not just anything because it wants an orbital telescope observation, the SIG int scan, that's a big scanner part. So quite a few different science components. I'll think about that. I might even do that one in my off time, honestly, because some of these are ones that they're not exciting missions, and I do want some stuff to do in my off time. Because I don't want to not play Kerbin, because that would be boring. What else do we have? So these are the magnetic surveys. These are the ones that are a little bit more obnoxious because they need specific orbit for X number of days, with certain science experiments on board and all that fun stuff. We have 2 of them active for the Mun, however. Very different orbits at different days. Okay, so that's not something I can do in one ship. I might be able to launch them both on one ship and detach them once I get there. That could be a thing. But then they also need to be recovered. And to recover them... actually, return or transmit. But if it's 0 science, since I've already done a flyby, I might get 0 science. If it is 0, they have to be returned. So that's a different challenge. Because that would require planning ahead enough for the satellites to be able to come back again. Or the science to come back again in some way or another. Yeah, I have to think those through. I'm not sure they're worth it enough to think through, honestly. The science reward is alright, but... that is 200,000 and that's 100,000. So, maybe worth doing. Who knows? Kerbal Academy. ISRU I do want to do at some point. Because I never got to the point of being able to do that in my last run. So this is ISRU of the Mun. And that's decent cash run. So those are definitely things I want to do. Then we have field research. So these I've been doing in my off time. Every once in a while, it's just doing these 4 experiments on around KSC, just to get a little bit of cash and a little bit of science. So nothing much. Then we have these. Add a furry zoology beta thinker. Thinker. Oh, thinker. Haha. Okay. This one's fun. So, at one point I had a mission to do... let's see if I can find it in here. I don't remember which one it was, but it was experiment plant study or something like that. And it turns out that that's related to the station science. Well, I thought... It actually told me to do that experiment on Kerbin around the KSC. So, I launched it, only to find out that it can't be run, and it needs to be done in orbit, so that mission was broken. I actually had to cheat that mission completed. So Thinker was the name that I gave it when I had it around the Kerbal Space Center, and until I realized that it was broken. So now this thinks that that's the station that I had in place, and it wants me to add more to it. So I actually have to decline that mission, because that's not physically possible. Decline. Okay. And this one wants a new Mun space station. I like the value on that one. I like the value on that one indeed. And here's where I have the choice of doing standard science lab or the Thinker research lab. I think yeah, it's just one of the follow. Okay, might be able to do both and get the money for both. That'd be kind of cool. Actually, that would be really cool if I could do the money for both on that space station. But where do I want to do the Thinker? That's a problem. So that's another thing to consider. Alright. So I think for right now, I will do the picture of the sun. And I also check to see which parts I have for ScanSat, if I have enough to do all of them right now. Because if I have enough to do all of them, then I will launch one for Kerbin and the 3 moons. Maybe not right now, but still, at some point. Okay, so the thing that I want or need for taking a picture of the sun is right here, the Space Telescope. And that needs to go on something. So let's put it on a hex. That looks fine enough. Maybe I want to do a structure of some kind. Structure would require going to structure properly. Okay. So we have the AES structural boom. It's not big enough. We have the modular girder segment, which is kind of sort of big enough. Oops, I don't want to throw that away. I want to throw this away. We also have the octal strut. We have this thingy. We don't actually have very much in the way of structural parts yet. So maybe not is the answer to that. Because ultimately this thing is going to be like a so. So what if I put you that way? That's a little overkill. So I'm thinking this thing is going to be looking kind of like this out in space. Maybe 2 of them? Just to give it a little bit of balance. Maybe not. Who knows? And then for solar, so those give 2.8 per second, and this thing requires no power. Okay. I was expecting some power. Also, ScanSat, we have 3 of the 4. Okay. Good to know. Also, that altitude is max of 2 kilometers, so that's not going to help much. That's 250. That can be 250. So these 2 together are fine. I don't remember what the 4th one is. Okay, good to know. Alright, so as far as solar power requirements, there aren't very many, actually. So let us kill that, kill that, kill that. And we don't really need a structure at this point then, because there aren't very many requirements to make this thing work. Unfortunately, everything's gotten all topsy-turvy. Let me start over here. That. That. Okay. So, all we really need is a little bit of power storage and some communication. And it doesn't need much because it's going to be in a low orbit where it can reach things. I mean, yeah, that's even too much, honestly. Pair of these are probably fine because those are go away emptier. Those are 1.5 megameter, so 2 of them puts it out to 3 megameter. That's fine, and they require very little power. So as far as very little power is concerned, we just need a dash of storage. And what do we have for a dash of storage? That. And then these. So let's put this up here. Okay. I like that those things actually fit when you do hex arrangement and go horizontal. That's nice. I like it. Alright, so how are we? So we are at decent mains time, dark side transit, we're fine. So literally, this tiny little battery is more than enough for this entire thing. So we're good. Oops. We don't need much else. So I don't even need anything in the form of control on this thing, unless I want it to be able to go places on its own, which I don't really care for. So, we're done? Question mark? I mean, it doesn't look spectacular, but I suppose it doesn't need to look spectacular. I kind of want a reaction wheel. Do I have the small reaction wheel? I do. Because this thing has 5, and this one has 0.5, so that reaction wheel is going to give it a lot more control for pointing this camera where it needs to go. So that'll be nice. Okay. I mean, that's fine. Oops, I want those there. I want to grab the second one. Can I... Not really. Not really. Let's see if I can do this a little bit. And then grab these and pull them out a hair. They're not overlapping. And those can go down a little bit. Okay. Kind of like it. Not really connected to anything, but that's okay. They don't need to. Alright. Okay, all is well. Alright, so all we need to do is decouple this thing, which we can do through that. Now, what can I do to get this thing up into space? To space! I'm just trying this, just to see if this works. So if I do that, do I have the engine that can run that? I don't think so. No, I don't think I have the engine I wanted for that. Okay. Not yet, at least. Because Nerve just doesn't have enough power to it. Wait, this Nerve needs... Oh, okay, so I can switch its mode. There we go. Yeah, that Nerve does not have enough thrust. Okay, never mind. Can't use that. Not yet. What else do I have for tiny fuel options? Not much is the answer to that question. And I want swivel. Everything good? I mean, everything is good except for the part where I have almost no one watching, but that's okay. And Twitch broke. I did not mean to break Twitch. I am sorry. Fuel tanks. I can bring up more fuel with me. How's about... This is just silly, but I want to try it. Alright, so those are LFOs. Yeah, it's just silly. That's just silly. Testing out things is difficult. How about this with this? Okay, so that gives me up in space 800 delta V. That's got plenty of room. Okay, that should be enough, actually. That should be enough. So we just need to give it some wings. And give it a little launching platform. There. Staging says go. Okay. Let's see. Let's do. And Delta V says 4,300, so plenty. And we have active antennas, yes, yes. So hopefully this thing should be able to go up without burning too hard. It doesn't have much thrust behind it, so it shouldn't be a problem there. Okay, Alright, we're going to try to launch this bugger. It is unmanned, but that should not be a problem. Let's see, close that button, look at that button, look at this button, and that button. Right. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Okay, TSAS, throttle up, and 3, 2, 1, go! You motherfucker. Not entirely sure what went wrong there, but let's try that again. Unless the staging janked up where my engine didn't go, because it kind of looked like my engine didn't go. Hey, hey, hey. I checked my staging. Twice. Just didn't work. However, my staging went janked up anyway. Let's see. Okay. So this is doobity bop, bippity boop, boobity bop, beep bop, boobity bop. Okay. Let's try that again. Dap bop, go. You're good at that, by the way. You are absolutely good at that. That was a very nice one. Twin Minds never checks his staging. It has his viewers all raging. His rockets go boom, and it's all doom and gloom. But it makes the streams quite engaging. You are correct, and thank you. Whee! Yeah, it's close enough. So we're up enough that we can do retro or prograde follow. I think we're actually higher than prograde follow is necessary. But as long as my stuff doesn't light on fire, we're good. Let's up more. Let's up to 100. 101, that'll do. Okay, so we are going to float ourselves up. Floating, we're floating. We're floating like a butterfly. And then we are going hard. Let's do this. Yes, that. So this stage might actually crap out before it circularizes, and that's actually a good thing. Yes, it is quite a good thing. Alright, fast forward a little bit more. Get ourselves this direction. That was startling. Alright, so we're at 100 something. So what orbit do I want this thing at? 500? 500 good? Do I have the fuel for 500? I don't know if I have the fuel for 500. Let's do it anyway. Where am I? I am here. So let's... Okay, let's go. Prograde. Burny burn. Yeah, 501. 501's good. Alright, we have enough fuel to potentially circularize. Not positive, but potentially. Although, it's not a problem if I can't circularize, so I don't care. We are going to warp. And let's go ahead and... It's pretty awesome! Ooh, I had a nice zippy zip to it. Glad I did the extra thingy, so that's good. Oh, nice. We even got a peek of the moon coming around the corner there. So let's activate. I wish I had a better angle. That's an alright angle. So if I get a trick shot here, gooey, go away. That wasn't the button I wanted. What button did I hit? I don't know what button I hit. Ah, I know what button I hit. Okay. I need to control from here again. I think I controlled from the thingy and it went weird. Alright, so now we can do this button. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I just want to get a nice shot for posterity here. What if I did this shot for posterity? I like that shot. That shot's nice. Okay, so back to getting this thing actually in an orbit that works. Oops, overshot because I wasn't paying attention. And thing point to prograde. Burn. Close enough. 529 by 474. I could probably correct that to a decent orbit, but I don't care. Alright, so I'm going to leave this fuel on here because it's pointless to drop it. There's not much left of it anyway, but it's still pointless to drop it. So I'm just going to leave it. This thing is controllable enough as it is. Alright, so now we show the GUI and get the space telescope pointed in directions that we want it to be. So if we point ourselves normal, that makes it easier to take pictures a little bit. So now we want to take a picture of the sun. So this is the thing that we're looking at right here. This is the Tarsier telescope. And we're ultimately moving it around to get a good shot of the body that we're looking at. So if I zoom in, we have a pretty decent shot of the sun. A little bit twitchy because of the corona that it's attempting to render from so far away, but that's okay. So if we take this picture, clickety, 24 science. That burning smell is your corneas. Yes, indeed. All right. So we have this thing. So this is the part that I missed. I missed the transmit or recover the science data. Now I could transmit from here, get half of the science out of the deal, or I could send something up to collect it. That might be an option. Might be an option. Because the alternative is I could just walk a Kerbal over here and do it. But for right now, you know what? It's not that much science. I'm going to go ahead and transmit one. Transmitty. Not enough electric charge. That solves that problem. So I cannot transmit because I don't have enough juice to transmit. I didn't think that part through, which is fine. I don't do that often. So this thing is just going to have to sit here until I can send someone along to pick up my mess. Is this getting electric charge back? It is. Okay. Sort of. What is using all the juice? Is it attempting to keep transmitting? It is attempting to keep transmitting. How do I make it stop doing that? I may or may not have broken it permanently. Oh! That obnoxious noise tells me that it actually finished transmitting. And that's odd, because I thought the transmission stopped dead and reset if it didn't have enough power. But this one kept on going as long as it kept receiving more power from the solar panels. Fascinating. Fascinating indeed. Alright. I'll take it. So we transmitted and we mission completed. So we are good there. Wonderful. So I should be able to rename this. Probe's fine. Give me a name. We need a name. I could just leave it named Tarsier, but that seems less exciting. What shall we name it? I got nothing. I'll leave it at that for now. Okay, so we need to go back to the Space Center, collect our meager winnings. And I want to look at one thing. So what I want to look at is the 4 different scanners with ScanSat and see if I need the 4th one or not. ScanSat. Yeah. Let's see. That button. I don't know. Alright, however, we have 311 science now. So I do have enough to get another sciencey thing if I want. So I could do nuclear power, which gives me mostly reactors, which is kind of neat. I could do advanced metalworks, which is mostly structural components. Are there any structural components I really want at the moment? The answer looks to be not really. I mean, I do want them, because I love these hexagirders. Those are nifty. But I'm not in the mood to build anything with them at the moment. Winch, okay. Composites is mostly more structural stuff. However, it does give us a harpoon. It gives us a micro goo containment pod. Links components. Fairings. Not much else I need at the moment. Okay. And then we also have heavy landing, which is mostly wheels and legs. Heavy command modules, which is exactly as it says. Heavy command modules. Hey, randomizer, how are you doing? And then we have unmanned tech, which does give me MechJeb Ascent guidance, which is very nice to have. It also gives me the Scarab probe. Asteroid miner I don't need at the moment. The Octo 2, which is a very nice probe. Yeah, let's go with that one. Alright. I wish I knew. I wish I knew which scanners there were in ScanSat. So if anyone happens to know which scanners are in ScanSat and what they each do, it would be delightful if you could inform me. Otherwise, I'm going to have to fumble through it a little bit. Aha! So, I also want to do ScanSat here. Alright, so we've got Biome ScanSat. We've got Low-Res ScanSat Survey. And we've got the Resources Survey. There's also the Ore. And the High-Res. And the High-Res is the one I don't have access to currently. And the Ore, I don't believe. Yes, I don't have that narrowband scanner or the SAR altimetry scanner. Okay. So I could potentially bring both of them with. Actually, let's go back in there. So let's grab the ScanSats for Minmus. Biome ScanSat. Low res. And M70. So all three of those will be ScanSats that we should be able to accomplish. And let's look at the ScanSats that we have access to see which ones of those. Let's see. Alright, so let's grab a new ship here. Let's grab the Scarab for now. Science! So these are these. So the been there, done that requires a max altitude of 2 kilometers. So it's not meant for high altitude, and it can scan it's meant to scan just anomalies and only when you've basically visited them, so kind of not really relevant. This one 5 kilometers to 500 kilometers, and this one is 5 to 500. This one has a best of 250, so 250 is kind of what we're going for. Alright, so this is infrared visible light radar bands, gives the ability to capability to differentiate between terrain types and biomes and anomalies. This one, scan, brings you this high performance radar altimetry scanner. This entry-level model in this sensor family, and commonly sold in a bundle with toy rockets and remote-controlled model planes. After focus group testing revealed that 95% of target audience tried to duct tape it to the exhaust pipe for their rocket engines, this new and improved model has been made even easier to use. So that's good. So this does radar altimetry. I don't think I have the resource scan. Let me do something quick. I want to pop that on there. I want to pop that on there. Come on. Okay. So these, I just want to activate quick. That needs to rotate to be sideways. Then I just want to pop a quick antenna on top here, and I want to launch this as is, just to see what options I have available when right-clicking on these. Because that will tell me which scans I can do. So let's just launch that quick. So bouncy. Let's see. I still can't really get this thing to tell me which scanners do what. That's amazing. Alright, so this is our tiny little doohickey. I can't even force it to open up. So let's do analyze data. Reset, because we're not going to use science out of that. This biome data is truly astounding. You just hope that it's crumb resistant, as you remember eating a particularly messy box of snacks the day that the sensor was installed. That is a fair point. This one, low-res altimetry scan from Kerbit. Even this low-resolution data of planet surface is amazingly useful. You can't wait to deploy this technology on the Mun or beyond. Yes, indeed. So if I start scan, it's going to tell me altitude too low. But that scan is the radar scan, which is also the low-res altimetry scan. So if we compare that here, low-res altimetry scan is this one, so that's this one. And then also this one is the multispectral. So the multispectral, I think, is just going to be the biome scan. Interesting. Okay. So let's revert this. That's what I'm looking for. Not recover. Revert. And I need to figure out the resources scan. It's a fuzzy resource scan. And that, I think, can be done not through ScanSat components, but through other resource scanners. So I need to check to see which resource scanners I have. Alright, scanners. So we have, this can do a scan resource scanner. And scan resource scanner is the ScanSat version versus the vanilla version. This can do it. This can just do the surface. This can do it, because this is the vanilla resource scanner. Oops. Ah, so that's where the M70 comes from. So M700 is in the name of the mission. Let's do that. So it says, conduct an M700 resources ScanSat survey of Minmus. But it really just needs the fuzzy resource scan in general. So it should be able to do any of these, like this one, for example, should be able to do it as well. Ah, there we go. Okay, so scan resource scanner, fuzzy resources. That's what I'm looking for. So this one can only do metal ore. This one can do metal ore. This one... minerals. This one is ore. This one can do water. Oops. Can I? This one is just surface. And then these two are repeats of other ones that are up here. Yep, just mineral. So I do have to use this one. So that's good to know. Because that's the only one I can do that has fuzzy at the moment. I do believe I have others eventually, but not at the moment. So if we stick with the scarab, should be good. There we go. Okay, so if we pop that open and pop that open and pop that open. That is roughly what this thing is going to look like. In terms of symmetry, I wonder. Having those two pointing the opposite direction, a little bit better for symmetry, I think. Yeah, it's pretty good. This thing can go just any old damn place, honestly. Let's at least get it centered. Okay, that'll be good enough. All right, so all three of these can be on here. However, I forgot about the the direction of that thing is kind of a pain in the ass. I could probably launch it as is. Probably fly it okay. Maybe, probably. Who knows? Gonna try it anyway. Alright, so what do we need for energy? We need at least 1.77. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this here. I'll give it a little bit more of a connection range. Although it doesn't need that, does it? I don't think so. Okay. Well, let's deploy these again, because I want to see where my solar panels are going to get interfered with. So those are going to get interfered with quite a lot, actually. So what I might need to do... Even those aren't going to stick out far enough to not get interfered with. That's unfortunate. This one might work. Still going to clip a little bit, and that's unfortunate. But I could put something on that'll extend it down, like a battery, for example, because I'm probably going to need batteries. That's actually probably going to be my best bet. Let's do that. So, battery. That's my only downside with using the Scarab. Nothing else is square. So it just looks kind of weird. I could do this. And figure out a different solar option. What if... Let me grab that again. What if I did structural, not a cubic, because that's the tiny one. I want this one. If I did something like that. That's too big. That's also too big. How about... So if I did 150%, that's roughly what that would end up looking like. The only thing I don't know is, if I put those there, is that going to interfere? I think the answer is probably yes. So I could instead do this. And have an interesting little staggered approach there. I say, These, by the way, are my favorite batteries. That looks a bit of alright. I almost like the industrial look of this one better. How about... those aren't nearly special enough. That's 800. These are 600. I don't need much battery storage for this thing, in all honesty. So I'm just mostly doing this for looks. What if... yeah, so if I put that there, it's going to be clipped and it's not going to look right. There may be other options. I'm thinking. Kind of want to get this to look okay. And the first thing that doesn't really look okay is this thing on top. Because if I extend that, it's going to do that, and it looks kind of weird. But it's not terrible, I suppose. I mean, it's kind of okay. The staggered thing down here is what's kind of getting me. Because that's frankly too much, honestly. It doesn't need to be that much, but it is a thing. Because the alternative is I could get rid of these. I could do this. Not that. That button. And just have it looking like that. And then have the girders kind of barely visible down there. And I can rotate these and slide these down a hair. So they are roughly like so. There, I guess. Kind of okay with that. Kinda. Kinda, sorta. Kinda, sorta, not really. Another thing to consider, what is the reaction wheel? Is only one on that. Not the greatest reaction wheel in the world. that'll have to do. I just need to offset this to go up into it. There. Just to encase that and give it a little bit more reaction power. Actually, can I fit these in here? Yes, I can. So if we rotate these, oops, there we go, and then slide them up a little bit. There, a little bit better. Just to give it a little bit of a internal component working to make it look like the structure is not entirely worthless, even though it is. So then I just want to grab these and put these here. Yeah, that'll do. Now the question is, can I get this fucker in space? I don't know what the answer to that is. Let's call it just scan set. Can I get this thing into space? The world may never know. Just going to need a regular old stack decoupler on the bottom here because I am going to detach it and leave it without any things. Yes, without things. So this one I'm actually going to put around Kerbin, I think. Basically, this is probably going to go around all of them. No, this one just needs to go to the mud. Okay. So this should be good to go around the mun. Minmus, sorry, Minmus is the mission I've got, not mun. So I need to get it 5,000 Delta V roughly, I think is the answer to that. I think. Alright, let's grab Octo. Let's make Octo bigger. Oh, I need that. I need that. So, this is going to give me 2,000 Delta V? Yeah, 2,100. So that's for this top stage. Not that one. The small one will do fine. Alright, so now we need another decoupler. And we need this stage coming. Alright, I might need that. We'll see. Alright, so mainsail gives us a good chunk of the delta V. That's a little better. That's a little better indeed. So supposedly, I don't need more than this. Supposedly. Because this thing will get us up into orbit, and it will have 6,300 total delta V. So this top section here will be more than on its way to min-miss by the time I get there. So that should be good. I need aerodynamics. And I think I want this octo setup, honestly. To potentially control that thing on its way back. Okay. Just out of curiosity, can I use this thing? And the legs for this are here. So those legs do not have much in the way of down. But that's enough down. That's enough down. Should be good, right? That should be good. I mean, the alternative is something like these. Not great. Or these. Which are definitely nice, but I don't know if they go down far enough. Yeah, because those mainsails are pretty huge. I can put it down that far. But if I retract them all, it looks kind of goofy hanging down there at the bottom. What else do I have? I have Falcon landing gear. And that looks like that almost goes down past. Yeah, that looks good. Let's try the Falcon landing gear. Yeah, let's see how that goes. No idea if it will go, but we will try anyway. How's our Delta V looking? Looking just fine. Okay. I think we're good to try. I'm good to try. can see again. Hooray! Today is Wednesday, yes? Yes, today is Wednesday. Just making sure. Alright. So TSAS, throttle up. I did not technically check my staging, but my staging is not exactly a complex beast on this one. Okay. So let's see if I can do an ascent guidance. Alright, screw it. Let's see how it goes. 3, 2, 1, go! Now, this is the first time I've tried to use ascent guidance in quite some time. I've had problems with it in the past. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't, I might have to do a lot more manual work. And some really orange clouds. Party too. Even though the clouds disappeared, it's still party. Alright, so we're going up at 11 so far. I mean, it does appear to be following the ascent path fairly well. So far, so good. And that satellite bit does not appear to be causing too much problem with aerodynamics. Apo is almost at 100, so it's about ready to start coasting too, which it is doing right now. That's just purty, isn't it? Yeah, lovely solar flares. We have a nice little mountain shadow there. We have the sunset ring here. It's just purty. Alright, it's working on making its way to the maneuver node to start circularizing. Once it hits there, it should auto-warp to the spot where it wants to start burning. There's the warp. Perfect. Good to know that MechJeb still works. Because that's half the reason I stopped playing last time, is that MechJeb started going all sorts of batshit crazy. I couldn't get a proper orbit to save my life. At least not with MechJeb. Could do it all manually, but that was still kind of a pain. But I was having many other issues as well, including turning on SAS and suddenly my ship's just deciding to rotate constantly without my input. I couldn't do anything about it. Made it nearly impossible to control. so I had to give up on that. Alright, so we have circle. Circle good. Circle good. Still having a bit of that problem with SAS. Right now I have it told to keep a specific position, and it's kind of rotating a lot. Okay, I think it's stabilized. Alright, so we're good. So now I just need to get to Minmus. So let's go target Minmus. Alright, so here is where we can start doing some maneuvers. So if we do maneuver, not node editor, maneuver planner. First we want to do match planes with target. So if we create and execute that, it will do its thing. Ever so slowly do its thing. What are you? You are very close to my ship. Must be space junk, because I don't see it on here. Space junk. Yes, space junk, right there. That is why I want to have my space janitor sooner than later, so I can go clean up space junk. So it is now warping to the point where it can do its plane matching maneuver, which is doing right this moment. Whee! That's close enough, buddy. Don't chase that dragon forever. You are close enough. Don't worry about it. You can stop. Alright, so now we should be able to do a home and transfer to target. Got us planned going that way, that's fine. Just about ready to start that burn. 2 Minmus. I do believe I might have to make this a 2-parter. Based on the amount of fuel I have left. We shall see. Yes, okay. So I'm going to abort remove, cut that stage, and then do a new maneuver node. Because it has to replan for that trip. Alright, about ready to start burning. Good, good. And off it goes. Now, the only thing I don't know for sure is if I have to abandon this thing once it gets to Minmus. Because I do have my sats in orbit here to connect to anything pointing at Minmus and the other moons. But I don't know if I'll be able to get this thing into an orbit that I can use with its current minimal antennas. Its current minimal antennas are just these doohickeys. But the way I have Remote Tech programmed currently, it should be able to use these minimals to connect to the bigger dishes that are pointing their direction. So we'll see. If it doesn't work, I'll have to go set up a satellite array around Minmus first, before I can finish this thing. Alright, so we are going to focus on Minmus and see where our path takes us. Okay, so that's actually really good. So what I want to do then is plan here-ish. And see if I can insert myself polar before entering. So if I do this, alright, so that's going to be pretty close to polar. In fact, that's pretty damn nice right there. Can I get further out? I can, because I want this thing at 250, 250,000 meters high. So I need to be able to adjust that ever so slightly. Because if I can get it coming in at somewhere around 250, then I need to do less correction once I get there. Okay, so far so good. Can I come in at 250? It's looking a lot like the answer is yes, and I approve of that answer. That's looking pretty good. So if I hit this maneuver as it is, I should be able to come in at a pretty decent angle and do minor corrections on the way. Alright, so let's SAS, point at maneuver. Oh, we've got the flashy thing going on. Wonderful. Okay. So I think I'm going to attempt to do this one manually. So I can warp to here. Nope, and there's a problem. Notice my my meetup with Minmus failed. It has disappeared. And that is because I have a problem. So if I point at maneuver again here, I should be able to get it. Now, this is not going to be quite right because my orbit changed. Yeah, so everything got all janked up. So instead, how's about create a new maneuver here. Can I correct this? Yeah, I think I can correct this. So point ever so slightly this direction. Okay, so that's good. So now, can I keep this trajectory? Is the question. Because every time I attempt to time warp, I potentially lose what I was aiming for. So if I time warp, it went down, but only by a few meters. Time warp again, down by 5 meters. Okay, so we're getting closer. I'm going to fast forward this all the way. Good. Alright, so our parry now is 251, which is pretty much perfect, and we are just about perfectly. We're at 93 degrees inclination, and you know, that's good enough. I could correct it to 90, but I don't care that much. So I'm going to add maneuver here, and circularize. Oops, more circularization, please. Okay, that'll be close enough. I should be able to correct that to close enough to a circle once I get to it. So let us warp our way here. It says local control. Now, why is that? Is it because of my connection problem? Oops, I need to go out here. Well, local control or not, if it lets me point to it, it'll be fine. And it does let me point to it. Which means, I believe that means that the Scarab is immune to remote text effects. It lets me control it regardless. So, minor glitch. Minor glitch, but it's allowing me to get past some of the communications problems. Not that I don't intend to do a full communications array anyway, this just lets me kind of get past that. Okay, so let's fast forward just a hair. Alright. So apo that. If I create a maneuver, let's go here. Can I fix those at all? That'll do. Good enough. That is 251 and 256. That will do just fine. So how do I make this a 90-degree orbit? Here? Do I care that much about a 93-degree orbit? The answer is no. No, I do not. Alright, so let's get this thing cracking. Deploy scanner. Getting 0 science from that, so let's just do start scan. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, I remember these. So you have to start scan first, get them scanning, and then later you can analyze the data once they've collected some and get science out of them. Got it. So let's do... It's fine. So analyze data resources, skip that, scan for resource loads. What? Between 30 and 60? This thing told me it could do higher than that. So what I might need to do then is wait for these to finish and then scoot this thing inward. Okay. That's mildly obnoxious. Good. So that is mildly obnoxious, but we're already at 2 and 3%. So it's not going to take too terribly long. In fact, I probably could just fast forward these. So fast forward. And also if we look at... Actually, I want to get this thing normalized first. I could just push the normal button. Normal's that way? What direction are we aiming? Normal's not supposed to be that way. Normal's supposed to be straight up. Where are we controlling from? That's awkward. Howdy, Banner Smile. How are you doing? It has not crashed yet, no. So, am I just going to have to eyeball what's straight up on this thing? So straight up on this thing looks to be roughly here. What the hell? What the hell? I have only slightly hinted at the giveaway yet, but yes, I will be doing a giveaway. I've only ever so slightly hinted at that yet. That's close enough. That's close enough. Alright, so 3 and 5%, we're getting there. So this I'm just going to let cook for a little while. Min scan set is a fine name because it's just going to be a temporary thingy anyway. So this bothers me, because this said 30 and 60. It needs to be between 30 and 60. But let's revisit Space Center, and I need to double check my brain because I am fairly damn positive this thing said it can do 5 to 500 kilometers. So 250 should have been good. But so if I toggle the overlay, nope, got nothing yet. None of these buttons appear to be working. Like the resource button seems to do nothing. So I think I have to have a scan going first. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to Space Center and check that out. Back into here to check what the scanner says it can do. Meanwhile, I'm still checking my streams to make sure the streams are functional. That they are. Okay. Alright, so this doohickey said it can do stuff. So let's grab the scanner. Yeah, there you are. Alright, so if I right click on the scanner to look at its capabilities, here it says orbital survey can do 25,000 to 1.5 million. And this says 15 kilometers to 1,000 kilometers, which is 15,000 to a million, with the best at 150. So something in here is not telling me the truth, and that bothers me. But I will I will let the others do their work, get them at the right percentage to completion, and then I will come back and move it to a new orbit and try the scan again. So, patience. Patience is all I can do right now. In fact, I'm going to set a timer for 5 days and see if that will be enough. Alright, and then I have 78 days left for the mag field survey that's currently going around Kerbin. Alright, so in the meantime, we have other missions we can do. The mag field survey is in progress. Space station possibly. Explore Kerbin. So this one I could do with minimal effort. Transfer any crew between vessels near Kerbin. And I could do this in an interesting way. I mean, I was kind of planning on saving that for once the space station is in place, transfer Kerbals back and forth, da-da-da-da-da. But I could do this with a small single vessel, throw it up into orbit, have a decoupling node that can decouple, let them be separate ships very briefly, switch Kerbals back and forth between the two, recouple, reland. That's a way I could do it. But it's not critical to complete that, honestly, so I can definitely wait for the space station. Scan sets on the way. So let us leave and check mission control. So, missions that we can do. So these are part testing, kind of obnoxious to do. Interesting. This one is a rather pricey mission to test a tank over Iantopia. This would be an interesting one to try, because this would be, what, 500,000+ reward for the potential of just launching a small tank into Iantopia, do a test, and just let it crash there rather than having to recover it. So let's see what the cost reward on that would be. That was a cryogenic dual tank. I don't know which one that is. Okay, so looking at my tank options, it's entirely possible I don't have the tank yet. So I would actually have to accept the mission to get the tank. But if I look at tank costs, not much, in all honesty. The most expensive tanks I've got are 10,000. So I could get 500,000 out of the deal. And if I use some setup like this, it's only 75,000 to launch it, and most of those costs would be recoverable. So as far as a money-making mission goes, it's right up there. So, can I accept it? Yeah, that's an IFS tank, and I don't have any of the IFS tanks unlocked yet. Now, there is a good chance that's going to be excessive. Oh, Raymond, you know, I'm sure you're probably thinking, you know, making me go to Jewel, or the other one that I don't remember, because they switch which one's the farthest based on their orbits. But I do have other planets in this pack, and with my low tech, getting to the furthest planet is not possible. Like, literally not possible. And I will show you. So let's go into tracking station. Also, because of the number of mods, my loading times are a little bit terrible, but that's okay. Alright, so if we scroll our way out, first off we have a third moon here for me to play with, that's fun. So if we scroll out, here is Jewel, and then the other one is called Thara, which actually took the other planet that is normally in the system and put it elsewhere. Where did I put it? I don't remember for sure where we put it. But this is Sarna, so this is further out even still. Elu, there we are. So Elu ended up being a moon around Sarna. So that's the furthest out currently. But then there's also Urlum, and there's Nidan, and there's Plock, really far out. And these are... This is on its closest path, and that is 400 billion away. But then we also have, scrolling out further, we have Valentine. This is a second solar system that is orbiting Kerbin, so it's technically a binary system. And Valentine is 3.4 trillion meters away. And inside of here, we have more planets. So the furthest currently is Lomina, because Lomina is the furthest out in this solar system, furthest away from the Kerbin system. So Lomina is a lovely little ringed gas giant, I believe. Yes, gas giant. And it's got 4 moons around it. 5 moons? Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We got tiny little rock things here. So yeah, trillions of miles away is a little bit far from me at the moment. Okay, now Raymond, you're just being silly. At the very least, if that's even possible, it is not possible with my current tech. Because my current tech is not exactly high on the list yet. So I could probably make it to Duna, maybe Jewel, I don't know. But I don't have very high tech yet. Because this is early career, I'm not doing sandbox, so I've got to have money to make the ships. I've got to have science to make the ships. And for right now, I don't even have half of the career tree. And this is twice as big as the normal tech tree from the vanilla game because there's so much extra mods in here. So yeah, I'm way, way, way far off from being able to do that type of mission. I would love to, because that would be amazing. While we're out here, I need to go back into mission control. And I think I want to try that part test. don't know how big this tank is, but I should be able to haul it up. Should. That one's barely worth doing, so I'm going to do this one. See, you're setting challenges, and I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I'm not good at this game. So, I'm not entirely sure I'm capable of doing those kind of challenges. And let's reroute to this. Take that whole thing off. Let's call it park tester for now. Yeah, I'm curious about your $1,000 limit to get to the MUN, because I usually have to use this tank to get to the MUN, and that's 800 right there. And the next cheapest component to get it there, let's see. Yeah, the cheapest drone I've got, going by cost, I mean, external command seat maybe, but that's 800 for the fuel and 200 for the command seat. That's the $1,000 limit right there. That doesn't even give me enough cash to put an engine on the damn thing. That's just fuel tank and a seat to put a Kerbal in. So you're going to have to up your limit a little bit. Like, even if I did the cheapest drone, the Stay Putnik, 300. Fuel tank, which I know for a fact, by the way, that this fuel tank is not enough to make it to the MUN. It's not enough. 3,000 might be doable, but I need to look at engine costs. So I'd need, at the very least, a swivel, or Reliant. And that's 1,100. Might be doable. You know what? Let's see if we can get this going. So let's do a Reliant. Let's do the bigger fuel tank. Might need to switch to a swivel, I'm not sure. Let's reroute to the Stay Putnik. Well, appreciate the sub. Thank you for that. Now let's see if we can do this. So this bare bones contraption right here has 3,000 delta V. But it has enough space for more fuel. So what if we took another one of these, because that's 800. And that's 3,000 right there exactly. The delta V on this now is 38, with the potential of 450. So what I want to do is I want basic fins at 25. So that I'm going to do 4 of them for 100. So to save 100 bucks, I need to shrink this tank a little bit. Okay, so that is 4,100 delta V. So I don't think that's quite enough. Thinking. I should be able to throw more fuel into this. Oh, you're making me Kerbal this thing. I have to actually have a Kerbal on it? Well, balls. Alright. Let's change out to a manned command pod. So that doubles the cost of my command pod, unfortunately. Alright. So that puts it at 3,100. Yeah, fuel and delta V is the serious limiting factor here. Because switching out that command pod weighs more as well. It weighs 0.84 tons versus that alarm clock needs to go away. Go away, alarm clock. Versus 0.05 tons. So this thing weighs almost a full ton more than the Stay Putnik, so that kills my delta V. What other options do I have? I could do the external command seat. Let's... I think 5,000 would be reasonable for sure. Because if you leave me with 5,000, then I can do the extra fuel that I need to get there. That would be this. That's still not enough delta V though. For a manned. If I did unmanned, that's a different story. Actually, no. Let's do external command seat. Just one, please. Thank you. Can I not route to that piece? Aw, balls. Alright, we'll route to this piece instead. Alright, external command seat roughly there. Let's assign Jeb to that because he's a crazy soul bitch. Okay, so that puts me up to 4,400 delta V potential, but not quite. So that is that. Yeah, I think I just need a touch more fuel. What if I swap for the swivel? That doesn't have enough thrust. What about... Can I do a handful of fleas? That is absolutely terrible. That's the worst. Okay. Let's crack another one of these in here. Yeah, so I definitely need the Reliant engine to get that going far enough. Unless... No, that's terrible. Thuds are terribly inefficient. What if I did a handful of these? Those would be good if they had enough thrust. What about that? That? No, that's even worse. All right. What if... I am curious. I want to test this to see if this works. So we're at 3630. So it's not the most expensive. Alright, I don't know if Jeb's ready for this, but we'll see what he can do. Alright, Jeb. I don't even know if he can survive the trip out the atmosphere. If not, we'll have to switch to something like a Stay Putnik. Alright. Sass, go. I've come to a realization. There's no control on this thing whatsoever. Because the Reliant does not have gimbal. These are static fins, and there is no RCS wheel in this thing. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. So yeah, there's zero control in this thing. What if I let it go for a little bit? What if I shut you down? Turn these guys on. Do I have any control at that point? Don't. Okay. Oops. Oh, I thought he was fine, but no, the seat was fine. Alright, fine. Alright, fine. Alright, so I need to revert to that vehicle assembly, because that's not good. So one thing I don't have any interest in doing is recreating existing missions. Like any of the SpaceX stuff, any of the Apollos, all that stuff. I don't want to be able to take a lot of time to recreate those. I would much rather do, you know, crazy Kerbally missions, that kind of stuff, or missions I've designed myself. I know there's a lot of streamers out there who love to recreate the existing missions, but that's not my style. Okay, so I'm going to do Stay Putnik on the top. Can't even do the Stay Putnik because the Stay Putnik needs a whole bunch of support stuff like energy and antennas and all that crap. So, where does that put us with this thing? That puts us needing more fuel. Alright, so this thing is still struggling to get enough Delta V to go. I want to try something out here. I guess I need to manually assign Jeb. Okay, fine. Be that way. So what type of Mars mission are you talking? Are you talking like survivability Mars base type situation? Or are you just talking about getting there? Because getting 4 Kerbals to Duna, I guess, would be the Mars equivalent. Not too terribly difficult. Land and back. Okay. So I'm not quite to that level yet with tech, I believe. And even if I am, I'm still focused currently on fixing up the current system. So for right now, I'm not going to work on getting to Duna yet. I'm going to try these things. Lost control. Alright, it's decided it's going to go straight instead. Sure, you do that. And now we're going this way. And now we're going this way. Sure. You do that. You do that, guy. I appreciate your enthusiasm. That's a little too much enthusiasm there, buddy. A little bit too much. So, what you doing? Where you going? Where you going, guy? Where you gonna go that way? I mean, sure, I guess you can go that way if you want. I'm not gonna stop you, but it's not really productive. Not really productive at all. Now he wants to go the other way. Good for him. Yeah, he's totally just going on a day trip. Are we just kind of hovering a little bit? Alright, alright. Go down faster. There we go. That was just a hard stop. Just a hard stop. Okay. So as you're quickly learning, I suck at this game. But I think it's more that I suck at challenges. Like, I can accomplish things just fine. But when I have like specific goals in mind, that's when I start failing a little bit. Let us see. So part of the challenge that I'm failing at is control. But I can't afford these Kiwi engines. So what about more swivels? Alright. Those actually are really expensive. Those are 600 each. What if instead I use the other ones, the crappier ones? That didn't even touch him. Come on. Is that working? That's not working. Interesting. I can't seem to get it to actually attach to these. Fascinating. Alright, let's skip that for now. Okay. So does this give me what I want? It does not. That's too big. What about... Now those are kind of fun. Now those are way too expensive for the 2 of them, or for the 4 of them. But 2 of them seem pretty okay. Delta V wise, no, not so great. Those are fun. Oh, hi, cat. Hello, gato. Crazy grumpy kitty. Yes, indeed. Oh, bye, crazy grumpy kitty. I think your limitation is silly. I have a hard enough time getting in the mud without all that crap. Well, I mean, right now it's just about midnight, so I would be stopping soon enough here. I don't quite know when I plan to stop, but it's soon. I wonder... I wonder... I live in Central. So this is volume 800, this is volume 800. Okay. I'm just going to try something here. So reroute back to the top. Drop all that crap because it's not doing me any good at the moment. And then I'm going to do that. That doesn't have enough thrust. That doesn't have enough delta V. Okay. That's a little bit better. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Those wings are so silly worthless. They're so silly worthless, but that's okay. Alright, so let's see if this thing can do it. So we're reaching that 10,000 goal. We've got 9,000 currently. Still need to assign a damn Kerbal. Because I originally started doing just Minecraft streaming, but I have since played Minecraft so much that I'm kind of not really interested in it anymore, so I'm branching out to other games. I typically was only playing other games, but I wasn't streaming. But I got so deeply embedded in Minecraft for a while, specifically modded Minecraft, heavily modded, That just became my life for like 4 years. Cat, yes, cat, come here, cat. Hello, Tirasith. How are you doing? Say hello to Kitty. Kitty face. If I did GTA, it would be for the single-player story mode. I would not be doing GTA for the online component. But I haven't decided if I want to do GTA yet. We do got a new person. Welcome. Alright, do this TSAS, throttle, going up. Okay, so we're going to see how this thing goes. Alright, let's see if this thing can do an orbit and a mud encounter. He's not confused, he's just lost. Whoops! I tried too hard to correct it. That's alright. It came back around just fine. We're good, we're good. Don't worry about it, we're good. Okay, so we're just gonna let this thing do a stupid little tumble until we are out of the atmosphere. Ooh, the other thing to consider. The ability to have electric charge. So yeah, now that I think about your price limit, getting to the Mun and actually surviving the trip with all of the different limitations, that's a challenge. Because electric charge is going to be the problem soon enough once I get there. Because I don't have any solar panels or anything to keep that charged up. Alright, so let's finish the circle here. Close enough. Close enough. Alright, so Mun target. Now, what do we have for Delta V left on this thing? So we have 900 Delta V left, so we should be able to get to the Mun and do an encounter. Well, I mean, for the Kerbal to survive, the ship at least partially has to survive. Alright. It's gonna take 800 delta, or 850 delta V to get there, and that will leave me with 60 delta V. I might be able to do a suicide burn to land that thing. Might. We'll see. Hey, Guilty Pride. Welcome. Oop, did we lose... Did we lose electricity, or what did we lose? What did we lose? We lost MechJeb's ability to focus. You like Kerbal? I like Kerbal. We have so much in common. Alright, so apparently MechJeb can't figure out how to do this, so let's get that. So I'll just have to manually do this for now. Alright, so what is this orbit going to do? That's going to be a straight-ass moonshot. Alright. Well, that's a challenge. Fuck it. We'll aim at it. We'll see what happens. Alright, estimated burn is supposedly 12 seconds. We'll see. Let's not straight moonshot, because that sounds like a terrible idea. But we will do a really low orbit there. Alright. So let's fast forward and hope that my fast forward sticks. Looks like it's sticking just fine. Alright. Okay, so our delta V remaining is 78. Well, balls. So yeah, that's definitely not enough to land properly. Let's do maneuver here, see if we can get it in a little bit. Yeah, I just need to go a little bit radial. Okay. So we are on a crash path to the Mun. Well, a little bit more radial. Yeah, crash path to the Mun. Let's see how this goes. Alright, where's my suicide burn number? I have a suicide burn number here somewhere. Yeah, there we are. Alright, so suicide burn number claims to be 400 delta V and falling. So hopefully... Yep, suicide burn falling. I have no lights worth speaking of on the ship, so we're doing this in the dark. Alright, we're coming up. Suicide burn distance in 3,000. Nope. Not enough delta V left on that thing. Oops. Just gonna crash a little bit into the mud. Not much. How about you? So that was a failure. That was me failing hard. So let's revert that because I like Jeb and I would rather keep him alive. Alright. So with that lovely failure, I am actually going to call it a night because it is getting late and I got to be up early tomorrow. So, sorry I failed at your mission, Raymond, but I warned you, I'm not good at this game. So, yeah, I'm going to call it a night here. So thank you all for stopping by. Thank you for any subs and follows I might have missed. Tomorrow night is going to be 7 Days to Die with Barton Blade. So that will be zombie survival funness. You are correct. Failure only means future successes. So yeah. I'm gonna go to bed. Y'all have yourselves a good night. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.